Hello everybody and welcome to our course EDUC 5553. This is the Fundamentals of Public School Admin course. In this course we'll look at the basic ideas of what it means to be a principal. I like to give a short video at the beginning of my courses with two purposes. Number one, to walk you around Blackboard so you can see how our course is laid out, and number two, to also take a look at the syllabus and point out highlights there that are more important than usual. So that's what we're going to do for about the next 15 minutes. You can see we have entered into the announcements page of our course. Whenever you enter the course, you will always enter the announcements page, which brings up an important point here to start with. All the announcements from the course go to your NSU email. Even though I may correspond with you through your personal email or through a work email, Blackboard only corresponds with emails to your NSU account. So if you have not forwarded that account to one that you check daily, you need to do so. Otherwise, just make sure you check your NSU email account daily. I will typically send a minimum of one announcement each week talking about our course and what's coming up. In addition to that, sometimes I'll send out other announcements about updates to the course. So with that, let us go to the Start Here menu. That's our second tab. Obviously, you have read through this, our course introduction, which will show the spring now. This is my information. The best way to get a hold of me is on my cell phone. You can do that by either texting or calling. I recommend that as opposed to the office phone because I'm not in the office nearly as much. I always have my phone with me. And as we'll see in the syllabus, if it's during the week, I'll get back to you within 24 hours. If it's on the weekend, I'll get back to you at the beginning of the next week. So, technically right now I have office hours only scheduled in Broken Arrow and then online office hours scheduled on Wednesdays. This does not mean that I will not be available outside of these hours. And if you've had me in class, you know that I pretty much try to make myself available as often as possible. So if you want to meet, please feel free to email or text me or call me and we'll set up a time that works for both of us. Some information about technologies in our course where you can get updates on all that. The IT desk, this is the number to IT, 444-5678, easy number to memorize. First one I memorized when I came to NSU 7 years ago. So any questions about your Blackboard or IT in general, that's the number to call and just start a ticket and they will take care of it for you, okay? And then finally some student resources. These are several resources through the university and other areas as well. We will not be using Respondus Lockdown in this course, so you don't need to worry about that. So with that, then the next tab is the syllabus. So the syllabus, I have two things in the syllabus. Here's a hard copy you can download, and then I have our calendar. So our calendar is here, and let's pull up the syllabus and we will look at the syllabus a little bit closer. So again, my office hours, information on how to contact me. I want to highlight the student learning outcomes. By the end of this course, students will be able to analyze and evaluate case studies to determine best practices for school administrators. The key there is that you're looking for best practices that you can identify. You will evaluate the professional development plan and activities in your building and district based upon research. You will create the foundation for a professional development plan, and you'll reflect on your learning. This is a metacognition strategy through discussions with your classmates regarding the role of the building administrator. And we'll do that through various things, and we'll talk about how our course is outlined in just a minute. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'm just pointing out a few things. There is no required textbook for this course. You'll be given readings, and I'm going to show you some of those in week 1, and provided with videos. Okay. A little bit about grades and how they fall. Here is how your grades will fall in our class. We do a lot of case studies in here. We have 8 of them. We have 6 discussion boards, and then you'll have 9 individual activities that you will do. And these are spread throughout the course. In addition to that, you'll have the professional development project and assessment. This is your core portfolio piece for this course. We'll get to it fairly early in the semester so that you have time to perfect it by the end when you submit it, and then we'll have a final reflection. Altogether, that's worth 100 points. As in all my classes, I give you a chance to do an introduction and take a short quiz over the syllabus to get you 3 extra points, and that will get you a total of 103 points. So our course by itself is worth 100. With the bonus points, you can get up to 103. Incompletes. I typically don't like to give incompletes, but I realize things happen, and so there are just some things to know about incompletes. Number 1, you need to have at least 3/4 of the work done in the course. Number 2, technically you have up until a year to finish the course. Generally, though, I give 1 semester. If you have 3/4 of the work done, you're pretty close to finishing, so I typically give 1 semester. So if we have an incomplete this spring, you'll have through the summer to finish it. And then the last thing here is that if you do desire an incomplete, the highest grade you can achieve at that point would be a B, no matter what your grade is. So if you were to officially get an A, you would get a B if you were to complete it through an incomplete. Attendance will be recorded through participation in discussion boards and submitting assignments on time. So keep that in mind. And then we have our calendar. So our calendar here, I want to explain just a little bit to you here. You see that in our calendar we talk about standards 1 through 6. These are the ELCC standards. ELCC is the national organization that governs all school administration programs. And so we have 7 standards. The 7th standard actually deals with your internship. The other 6 all have different aspects of what it means to be a principal. And so the way this course is organized is we're going to work through those 6 standards. And you will see that in some of them we actually have classes built around an individual standard because of the importance of that standard. Otherwise, we will work through these in order and hit a number of topics as we go throughout, whether it's dealing with, like I said, case studies or individual activities and so forth. I want you to use your district, your site, if available, or district, as we go through these activities. And it doesn't mean that you're going to find everything in your district, and that's fine. What we're showing is best practices. And so the goal then is that you can understand what best practices are, and when you become a principal, then you can help institute those in your district. So if I ask you to find something in your building or in your district and it's not there, then you'll report out that it's not there. Okay? So that's the syllabus. I will try to go through here each week and mark through so you can get a clear idea of where we are. So the next thing then are the discussion board and the learning modules. So the discussion board, so we'll jump here real fast. The first discussion board item is what we call our Q&A. This is the question and answer cafe. Here are general questions that you can submit about the course or project or due dates. These are just general questions that if you are thinking about it, chances are somebody else in the class is. as well. So feel free to submit a question and ask something like, hey, I don't know when this is due, or there are 2 dates when this is due, or where can I find this information, that kind of stuff. If it's specific to you, then just email me, okay? But in general, most of the questions that I answer as we go through courses would impact the whole class, so feel free to do that. Put those in the Q&A Cafe. And just go to discussion boards and click Q&A Cafe, create new thread, and then whatever the title is and your name, you can put your name and then ask your question, okay? I will check that daily, so feel free to get in there. The other discussion boards will appear down here. Right now, the only other one is the introductions, and I'll show you where we'll access all the discussion boards in the modules. So you actually have 2 ways to access them. You can either come here directly, or you can access them through the modules. One thing I will say in the discussion boards when we start getting into them is that I don't want students placing Word documents in discussion boards. So if you have your introduction typed out in a Word document, it's a very common thing, then cut and paste it into the actual discussion board. Don't include a Word document. And the reason for that is very simple. People just don't open them. They'll skip over it. And so I would rather you not do that, so please don't do that. Learning modules. This is where our individual learning modules will appear. Periodically they'll overlap, but only for a day. Our typical week in this course, other than the first week and the last week, will run Wednesday through Tuesday. Now the first week you can see is actually Monday through next Tuesday. That's just because it's the first week. From then on, the modules will run Wednesday through Tuesday. They will generally open up the Tuesday evening before, and they will close at midnight the following Tuesday. Okay, so everything in the module, unless I give you a specific date, is due on Tuesday at midnight. I will try to include the things that are in each module. So here you see we're going to do introductions. We have some things for reading, and we have a case study to do. We should also add a syllabus quiz there. So once we get into the modules, then what we see is we'll start with usually a video, and I give you a PowerPoint that I use to create the video, and this will introduce the topic that we're talking about. Here you can see the introductions. Take a moment to introduce yourself to the class. This is due January 17th at midnight. The reason this one is due early is because I use this for attendance. And if you fail to get in before the 17th, before Thursday night, then there might be a good chance that you'll be reported as non-attending, which could impact financial aid. So please be sure to get this by January 17th. I will provide you links to articles. So here's one on 4 instructional leadership skills principals need. Here's another one, 8 ways to build an awesome school culture. And you can see they're very short articles. This is just the 8 ways. Here are the 4 instructional leadership skills that principals need. And so this is replacing the textbook. And then of course I have an actual article here that I want you to read, The Principal's Role in Successful Schools. With all of that, you will, after reading through the material, watching the video, there'll either be a case study or an activity. So the case study for this week 1 is called Creating a Vision and Mission for the School. Oops, let me open that back up. And the case studies are relatively short, usually no more than 5 or 6 pages at the most. But they give you an idea, a scenario at a school, and then they ask questions. And the questions are usually 3 to 6 questions. I want you to answer the questions, include information about your experiences, obviously include information from the text, the case study itself, and any information that's pertinent from the readings in the week. Those are the 3 things that I will be looking at when giving you credit for the case studies. And then you just submit that here, okay? Where are your grades? How can you look at your grades? So these are the other tools that you'll have. You may find some information in the NSU library. This course is not particularly geared toward working in the library. The Student Resources tab here is very similar to the one I showed you earlier, as well as Blackboard Help. We will probably not use any groups, but I left that in there. If you click on My Grades, you can see here, here are the activities that we're going to do in our course. This is about 90% complete. What I want to show you here is the rubric. So if we look at the rubric, so here's a case study rubric, and I'm not sure why case study 1 didn't appear, but we'll fix that. But all the case study rubrics are the same. You can just click on View Rubric, and here you can see, so it's a 3-point rubric. All questions are answered by the student with clear connection to the case study itself, any readings, presentations, and personal experience. And then the grammar piece is the answers are clearly seen and free of any grammar and or APA problems. And then we go down from there, okay? So that's the rubric we'll use for the case studies. As we come up against other activities that deal with rubrics, I'll introduce those rubrics to you as well when we get to them. The only other thing I want to show you is our online classroom, and I don't know if this link is available right now, so there's the link. You can click on that, and that will take you into the Zoom room when we have online meetings, okay? So that is where you will access that. So let's get back to our announcements page. This is our home page again. I look forward to this class. This class is probably our newest redesigned class, designed around helping you with real life experiences, field-based approaches in your school, and looking at what it means to be a principal. So I look forward to a great class. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.